just catch you having fun.
Paving this shit crank.
Hey you guys, how you doing? How you doing? I know you see the title. Former Boy Scout Chaplin gets 40 years for sex abuse of child with developmental disabilities, 5 others. Okay, I want to say something before I read this story. I remember a long time ago, I don't know how long ago it was, but there was a lawsuit pressed against the Boy Scouts because there was a guy, he was a homosexual guy, and he wanted to be a Boy Scout leader. And I'm going to have to find that story so I can back up what I'm saying. And so the Boy Scout was like, no, we don't want you as a Boy Scout leader because you're gay and we don't know if you will touch the children, so we have to protect our kids. So he ended up suing the Boy Scouts for millions of dollars, and he actually won. So later on down the line, I'll say like 10 years down the line, I guess, I'm just guessing, you guys, I don't remember when I read it, the same Boy Scout leader that sued the Boy Scouts and became a Boy Scout leader, one of the kids went home after an overnight thingamajig with the Boy Scout, and when the mother was washing the kids' clothes, she found blood in his underwear, and she was like, hey, what's going on? So she took her son to the doctor thinking that something was wrong with him. Come to find out, the Boy Scout leader was sleeping with the kids. So I'm like, wow, they said it, but they end up getting sued because of something that they believed that would take place, and it actually took place. And over that period of time, he was molesting these kids. And if it wasn't for that little boy's mother being very, very observant, he probably would have continued to get away with it. So I don't know what happened with the money situation, but I think he's in jail, in prison. And to me, honestly, I know we need to be careful what we say. He needs to rot in prison because he had every intention on getting in there and messing with those kids and thinking that those kids were going to be careful and be quiet. And I'm grateful to the mothers that actually sit there, take time and pay attention to their kids. Don't just let your kids wash their clothes, especially if they're boys and girls. Find out what's going on. Look in their clothes, not like you're going crazy, but pay attention to something. Pay attention to the signs. If they're withdrawn, if they're extra quiet, what's going on with your kid? Pay attention and stop taking it on leaving it on other people to think that they're going to do right by your kids, because clearly they're not going to do right by your kids because you don't know what they're capable of. Okay, being that said, let's get into this story. The prison term comes amid a reckoning for the Boy Scouts of America, which is facing more than 92,000 claims of sexual abuse. See, that's what I'm saying. 92,000 claims. And look at him. If you want to be gay, that's your business. If you want to have sex with a man, have sex with a man. Leave these kids alone. And I'm not gay bashing. For those that, well, she's gay. No, I'm not gay bashing. I'm telling you the truth. Leave these damn kids alone. Let these kids be kids. You want to sit up here and insert your grown self on some kids. Come on now. You need to be locked up. A former volunteer camp chaplain for the Boy Scouts of America who sexually abused multiple victims, including a developmentally disabled teen, has been sentenced to 40 years in a Rhode Island prison after pleading no contest to his crimes. 76, bruh, you gonna die, and there is basically what they're saying. James Glosson, 76, faced 11 counts of first-degree sexual assault against 6 young men, 5 in the 1980s, during his time as a scout leader. Rhode Island Attorney General Peter F. Oh God, I'm me and these names, y'all. I know somebody probably laughing. I'm just gonna say General Peter F. announced on Thursday, and you know what? He might be the guy that I was talking about. He might be the one because it was in the 80s, not the 80s, but it was later than that. It was like in the 90s or something like that. So he might be one of the people that I'm talking about. The most recent victim in 2019 was a resident of a group home with developmental disabilities. Rhode Island State Police began investigating Glosson in January of 2019 after a staff at the group home reported inappropriate contact between him and an 18-year-old resident, according to the Attorney General's office. The resident later told investigators he'd been assaulted by Glosson multiple times over 7 years. This is sad. And see, they're never sorry until they get caught. And once they get caught, they want to give their spiel. And I'm not trying to be mean, but with this new president that we got right now, you really have to be careful, because he wrote an executive order stating that if a man decides that he wants to be identified as a woman, although his birth certificate says that he's a man, if you call him by his male name, you could possibly be sued, because that will be considered a hate crime. And I don't understand why these people are infringing themselves upon society, and then they are sitting here talking about we're being prejudiced. No, we're not being prejudiced. We're just stating the obvious fact. It's not normal, and I'm not going to sit here and bash them and talk down to them. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that, because you have a right to be and live however you want to live, but don't force yourself upon other people to have to deal with what you want to do. It's like if you don't like the type of food that I eat, and then I go to court and they say, well, you have to like her food. No, you don't. That should not be infringed upon you. You know what I'm saying? You may not like a smell of a perfume that I use, and it may make you sick to your stomach. But because I go to court and say, oh, she's prejudiced and she's making me feel this kind of way, and then the court tells you you got to endure my funky smell. That's not cool. That's not cool. I know it's not the same, but I'm saying you're forcing your way of life on us. And not only that, not all of you, but the majority are even trying to force it on innocent children. A child don't know nothing about wanting to be a little girl. Come on, we need to get rid of that lie and kill that story, because a little boy is a little boy. A little girl is a little girl. Unless you do something to alter what they are, then they will be as such. So don't tell me that you were born feeling like a girl if you're a boy, because you don't know that. If your mom lets you play with doll babies all day every day, and you're around girls all the time, it's the woman's responsibility, if dad is not around, to ensure him and help him and put him around his male family members so that he can develop as a young man. Don't turn your son into a little girl. That's your fantasy. That's your sickness, So I don't want to say anything, because I don't want nobody getting mad at me, because there's a little girl. A little boy. Her mother wanted a daughter, so she, started brainwashing her son to turn into a little girl, and now it's just a big mess. This child at a very young age knew nothing about that. The mother did that. So if the father would have been totally aware and paid more close attention, he would have seen his wife coaching this child to be a sex that child was not born to be, and then he could have stopped it early on. No child knows that they want to be a little girl. Somebody, and I had a conversation with a lot of people that are homosexual and lesbian. I had a conversation with a lot of them, and I asked them because I wanted to know myself. I wanted to know. I didn't want no secondhand information. I wanted it from the source. I said, what happened? And they all told the truth. Out of everybody that I've spoken to, I just asked the question, what happened? And every last one of them told me they were molested as a male by a male, and from a female by a female, and they thought that it was normal because it continuously happened and nobody knew about it because they were threatened to keep their mouth shut. So of course they desired that same-sex attraction, attention, and love. And this is what they told me. I know nothing about it, so I'm only speaking from what's been told to me. And no, it wasn't no 3, 4, and 5. I'm talking about I asked over 1,000 people. Yes, I did. I sat down and asked them individually, and I told them I'm not judging you. Why? I just want to know, because maybe I'm missing something and I don't want to grow up saying things that I have no knowledge of. I want to know what I'm talking about before I speak. But I've asked over 1,000 people in different areas, different races, different ages, different colors, why, and they all said the same thing. Somebody touched me and they threatened to kill me if I said anything, and it became the norm, and I felt like it was the right thing to do. And that's what my attraction is. I'm not attracted to a female even though I'm a male, because I'm so used to a male's touch. And I said, I respect that. I respect that, because that's what you went through. I can't speak for nobody else. But let me get back to my story, you guys. This is why I'm saying the things that I'm saying, because this is why people impose themselves on other people, and people get confused, especially children at a young age. Just like, you have kids that are being snatched up and grown men are using them for their own sexual pleasures. And it's just really, really a messed up, cruel world. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know. Okay, let's get back to this. Glosson admitted to those assaults, and while being questioned, he said he victimized several other young men during the 80s while with the Boy Scouts organization, said the Attorney General's office. The 5 additional victims came forward during further investigation. See, he had no problem. He didn't care. He did what he wanted to do, and that was it, and that was all. I just don't understand how come these parents weren't on top of their kids being alone with this man. It took all these years to catch him. His sentence comes amid a reckoning for the Boy Scouts of America, which has been hit with more than 92,000 claims of alleged sexual abuse after declaring bankruptcy in 2019 in order to restructure its nonprofit organization and pay sexual abuse survivors, according to a court-appointed claims agent. This is sad. This is really sad, you guys. Boy Scout says it's devastated after over 92,000 claims of sexual abuse in bankruptcy case. And see, this is what I'm talking about right here. They sat up there and let some guy sue them because they said they didn't want homosexuals working with children. And this is what you have because somebody got their feelings hurt and they got a loophole and so where you can't stop them and this, that, and other. Now they're in here raping your children. So what protection do the children have? You sitting up here worried about somebody that prey on kids' feelings. What about the children? See, it's not going to matter until somebody attacks or harms or assault or do something heinous to these lawmakers' family member. It's going to take for somebody to do something to one of their close relatives. Stop, baby. Mainly one of their children. It's going to take something, and then they're going to change those laws really quick, and then they're going to have a no nonsense, no restriction. You can't do this. They're going to do it. It's going to have to take that. As long as they're behind their pretty gates and their big houses with their security and behind those security walls or whatever you call it, and their family is not being affected by it, they could care less about the general population. But let them cross that wall and that barrier and somebody come up in there and do something to one of their family members, you will see how fast that law will change. Watch. The judge issued a sentence of 60 years but only 40 to be served in prison, with the balance suspended with probation. Well, he ain't gonna live to 120 years old anyway. He damn near there. Glosson said he prayed for forgiveness and thanked the grace of God, while adding that he takes medication to relieve me of some of my evil urges. See, they always want to play crazy and talk about they taking medication. No, God didn't do that. I pray each day for God's help to help heal those that I hurt so badly and to give them comfort for the shame that I have caused, he said. But look, if he didn't get caught, he would have kept right on doing it. He wouldn't have been praying for help to God. He would have kept right on messing with them kids. It took for him to get caught to feel some remorse. See, that's what I'm saying. These criminals, they're not sorry as long as they're doing the crime. But when they get caught, the first thing they want to say is, I'm sorry. God forgive me. I'm praying forgiveness. I feel bad for hurting them. No, you had more than a decade to stop doing what you were doing. After you did it the first time, you should have said, okay, you know what, there's something wrong with me, I need help. Come on, I don't want to hear that bull crap. And that's the problem with these courts. They listen to this BS all the time and allow these sick dogs to get away with it. And that's what I said. According to police, Glosson of Exeter served as an assistant Catholic chaplain at a scouts camp in Hopkinton, while volunteering for the organization from 1980 to 2018. And he probably is the one that I'm talking about. You never know. Everyday parents and guardians entrust the well-being of their children to others to provide care and or recreational opportunities. Niranha said in a statement. When a person abuses that trust and sexually assaults a child whose safety has been entrusted to them, we know the consequences. They are severe and long-lasting. See, that's what I'm saying. These kids are going to be devastated for years to come. You know what I'm saying? And so this guy, he knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't anticipate that he would get caught. He just kept right along, kept right along, kept right along. Stop! Sorry, you guys, that's my little munchkin. You know, it's just like, I don't even want to go into it. The defendant's criminal conduct here over a long period of time and involving multiple sexual assaults against multiple victims warrant the long sentence imposed by the court, he said. In a statement issued after sentencing, the Boy Scouts of America, which said it permanently banned Glosson in 2019, added that his behavior is reprehensible and runs counter to everything for which the Boy Scouts of America stands for, reports the New York Times. I don't even want to hear it. Y'all trying to save face. Y'all trying to save face. Sexual abuse survivors were given until November 16, 2020 to file claims against the Boy Scouts of America in the organization's bankruptcy case. In a statement last November to people addressing those claims, the Boy Scouts of America said, "We are devastated by the number of lives impacted by past abuse in scouting and moved by the bravery of those who came forward. We are brokenhearted that we cannot undo their pain." You should have been paying close attention to the damn people that you hired. You should have been doing, excuse me, God, you're going to hear some noise. You should have been doing regular checkups and doing what they call evaluations on these daggone people that you're hiring in these Boy Scouts, period, point blank. We intentionally developed an open, accessible process to reach survivors and help them take an essential step forward receiving compensation. The organization continued. The response we have seen from survivors have been gut-wrenching. We are deeply sorry. You want to pay me for somebody continuously raping me and thinking that that's going to solve the problem. No, you need to give me compensation. You need to make sure I have a lifetime of therapy and everything, because I am devastated. I am ruined. You know what I'm saying? The statement added, now that all claims have been filed, the next step will be for third-party advisors to review the claim in order to uphold the integrity of the process, while the national organization works to develop a plan of reorganization to find the proposed trust. First of all, you shouldn't close this at all. You should keep it open, because there are so many people that probably are still scared to come forward. There are probably new victims that probably ran and hid and don't know that you guys got this going on. So you need to keep this lawsuit open and ongoing, and to every person that has been affected by this is compensated. This is a doggone this is so sickening. You guys forgive me, because I don't want to say nothing to get my little content struck. I already said enough. We are committed to working as expeditiously as possible to provide survivors of abuse with equitable compensation. Yeah, okay. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, please contact the National Sexual Hotline, Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-HOPE. That means 4673. Or go to rainn.org. So my thing is this. This should stay open. You shouldn't close this. This lawsuit that they got, you shouldn't close this. It should not be closed. No, sexual abuse survivors were given until November. You shouldn't close it. It should stay open as long as people need in order to come forward, because some people are probably in counseling at their own expense, still trying to learn how to use their voice. So you shouldn't close this. So you guys, like I said, please, please, please be very careful. Pay attention to your kids. Pay attention to your nieces. Pay attention to your nephews. Pay attention to your foster kids. Pay attention to your godchildren. Pay attention to the children. Find out what's going on. Talk to them. You know, I told my kids years ago, if somebody touch you and in an inappropriate way and tell you, oh, I'm going to hurt your mom or I'm going to hurt your family, that's shit. They're only saying that to keep you from telling on them. They're more afraid because they're going to get caught. So I told my kids, I don't care what they say. You tell me. And once you tell me, I will go to the appropriate authorities. Don't let nobody touch you and tell you anything. And I never let my kids do slumber parties and sleepovers because, like I said, I don't know your husband. I don't know your cousin. I don't know your niece. I don't know anybody in your family. All my child knows is that this person is my friend, and they don't know the dynamics of the household. This kid could be inviting my kid over into a house where there is molestation going on. I wasn't taking that chance. And you shouldn't take that chance with your kids. As far as sleepovers, it's a no, no, no. Even if it's a single woman, you don't know if she's into girls. So that's a no, no, no too. Unless you're going to go to the overnight sleepover with your daughter and sleep in the same room up on the couch while they're on the floor and keep your eyes open. Me, personally, if I had to do that, I would sleep all day long. And honey, I would be up all night like an owl. Ain't no way I'm going to sit there and go to no sleepover and go to sleep as an adult and know that there's another adult that could potentially lurk around in the house while I'm asleep. I'm going to be sitting up there looking at YouTube, be looking at Netflix, be looking at anything to keep my eyes open, and me and Coffee gonna be best friends, and I might even take some no-dos. How you like that? But you ain't gonna be touching no kids on my watch. So you guys need to really think about it. If you're going to send your kids, don't trust everybody to care and to that they're going to take care of your kids the way you're going to take care of your own kids. Because everybody's not built like that. This society is getting sicker and more demented every single day. You got more and more people coming out talking about this man touched me, this boy touched me. Like I did a story the other day where this girl spent the night at her auntie's house. I believe it was her aunt, and her teenage 15-year-old cousin raped the little girl, killed her, and dumped her in a gully. And she was only 9 years old, and the mother was looking for the little girl, and he had wrote a note, said he did something bad. He took off, but they ended up finding him, and he ended up telling them where he dumped her body. So you can never trust anybody. I'm sorry, as long as there's a little girl with a private area that a man can insert himself, or his little boy can insert himself, those are the ages where they get real curious, and they start messing around with the little girls and molesting these little girls. And you know, like I said, you better watch your kids, y'all. Until next story, you share this story with your family. If you think I'm kidding, I'm not kidding, you guys. You can't trust nobody with your children. Nobody's going to love your kids as much as you love them. You understand what I'm saying? And you even got those grandparents. The grandfather is a pervert. You can't even trust that. Maybe daddy's a pervert. Maybe brother's a pervert. You just don't know. You got to watch your kids. So you guys, until next story, I will talk to you later. Be safe. Make sure you watch over your kids. Don't trust them in strangers' hands. You even got to watch the teachers. You got to watch the pastors. You got to watch the chaplains. You got to watch, honey, you got to have eyes all over you. There's a book called Ezekiel. They said it's a wheel in the middle of a wheel, and they got eyes everywhere. That's what we need, eyes everywhere. And we don't need you to sit there and go, well, and then let me tell you, I was about to go, but you got family members that you got family members in your household that will rape a girl that comes over, that will rape a little boy, and then when they go to the authorities, you're going to do your damnedest to send that child away to protect them when they violated your child or your loved one. Come on now. And you're going to be sitting up here battling with them, and they got a nerve to be mad and then try to threaten your life because their family member did something to you. Not everybody's like that, but for the most part, that can happen. So again, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. You guys don't just look at my content, become a family member. You know what I'm saying? But like I was telling everybody else, I have to cool it on the movies right now because I got one strike, and I'm not trying to get this channel taken down, although they took my other channel. So you guys, until next time, you guys be safe. Like I said, keep your eyes open. God bless each and every one of you. If you don't believe in God, take care. All right? Until next time, goodbye.